guys, Queenie Tan here, Asia's premier parenting coach. And 2 years ago, I found myself in a very tight position where I saw my life came crashing down right in front of me. I became a single parent, and my boys were struggling with a huge amount of childhood anxieties because of the emotional environment that they're in. Also, a lot of it came from school. It's kind of interesting because my eldest son Charles, he is 14 years old this year, and when we pulled him out of school about 2 years ago, he was only 12. And he struggles with school a lot because he's dyslexic like me. So anything academic is going to be probably 4 or 5 times harder for people like us. And so he was feeling really down about it, and there was intervention going on in school. They'll pull him out for remedial classes, and that made him feel really self-aware that he's different. And so and then with my younger son Kevin is 11, and 2 years ago when I pulled him out of school, he was 9. And he was also sent out of the classroom a lot, not for remedial work, but because he is gifted. And so every time the teacher gives the whole class an assignment, he will be done in like 5 to 10 minutes, while the whole class will take about an hour. So with the free time, he tends to get creative, and so the teachers are always sending him out of the classroom so that he will not disrupt the rest of the class. And I was looking at this whole situation, and I was thinking, why is everything so stuck? I mean, surely life must be more than this. It must be more than just surviving school and surviving life and paying bills and pretending to be happy and posting whatever little family pictures that we take on Facebook and looking like a really happy family. So I made a really huge plunge 2 years ago. I took the boys out of school, and we decided to unschool. And unfortunately, where we are in Hong Kong and many parts of Asia, homeschooling or unschooling is not really legal. So it makes sense to move out of this country and to unschool. So that's what we've been doing for the last 24 months now, since September or October of 2016. We took the plunge and we decided to world school, and here we are today. We are full-time world schooling for the last 24 months. We get to live in different countries and integrate into different cultures. And just so you know, we're not travelers, like tourist kind of travelers. I see us as digital nomads, where we move around and we live in a place for an extended period of time, and then we move to the next place. And it's kind of different that way because we don't do tokenistic stuff. We don't do like 12 days Europe tour to see 14 countries. We don't do that because it totally defeats our world schooling. The way we world school, of course everybody world schools differently, but the way we world school is we find a location like this one, and then we live here for a month. We integrate as much as we can with the locals. We learn about their way of life. We learn about how they do things. We learn the language, and then we move on to another place and we learn something else. And so I've decided to set up this YouTube channel so that I can document all our learning and all our moving around, all our digital nomad activities, and all our world schooling discoveries. And so that when my boys grow up and they leave the nest, I will have something to look back on. And since this is public, if you guys want to follow with our learning journey as well, feel free to do it. I'm right here. I'm in Goadix, and this is in Andalusia, Spain. And it's beautiful, as you can see. And this part of Spain is kind of unique, and that's why I wanted to stay here, because we are staying in a place that has got a lot of cave house, or what they call Casa Cueva. So right now I'm standing in my deck of my back balcony, and this is the entrance to my son's room. And as you can see, the whole house is inside this cave, this mountain or hill, and the entrance is on the other side. So and this place is just beautiful. It's picturesque, it's quiet, except for a few dogs barking when the strangers pass by, but it's really, really nice. And so this is exactly what we want to do. We want to, you know, find really quiet places off the beaten track, to places that people have never really seen before. And I also want to teach you guys, or you know, to share with you how we make this sustainable, you know, what my boys and I learn from time to time. It's kind of interesting because I have been a teacher for 16 years. Up to the time that I decided to World School, I've been a teacher for 16 years, and I've been in the system of writing curriculums, designing curriculums, students assessments, and I've also trained teachers at universities for 12 full years in Hong Kong and Singapore. So I was very much in the system, and I'm not criticizing the system per se, but I think that the system is only written out and designed for 30% of the population. So if you are the 70% of the population, like the three of us, then then you need to watch this, because I'm going to show you how learning takes place for the rest of the 70% of us. It's very spontaneous. Some of my friends told me to share learning outcomes, okay? And this is learning outcomes is a term that we use in the education field, where when you prepare your lesson plan, you identify objectives, you identify the steps, and you also talk about learning outcomes. What do you expect children to learn from this activity? But you see, the thing is, with world schooling, there's no learning outcomes because the objectives are very fluid. If you set learning objectives, then your learning becomes limited to just a few things. But what we are doing with unschooling is we don't set learning objectives, and as such, our learning outcomes are way more than you can ever measure. Okay, and I'm going to share this with you in upcoming videos. We won't be sharing learning outcomes per se, but we'll be sharing how, you know, all these experiences have changed our mindset, and this is something that you really can't get in school. Sorry, guys. So this is as much a learning journey for me as it is for my boys. And in the last 24 months, I have learned so much. I'm going to post some backdated videos here that I took on Facebook during Facebook Live. So please subscribe, press the button below, subscribe. And every time we upload a new video, you'll be notified of it. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, like this one, as much as possible. And as much as possible, I'll leave links to the resources, the apps that we find useful, the places that we go to, even though a lot of places that we go to don't really have websites or cannot be tagged on Facebook. They don't even have you know, a Google business presence. But as much as possible, we'll try and, you know, describe a lot of this so that you know how world schooling works for us, and you know, and how it can be a viable plan for you and your family as well. Excellent. Thank you guys, and see you again really soon. Bye.